Hello students, in this lecture we will be studying rolling motion. So first of all, what is rolling motion? Suppose some circular object is moving down a plane, we say that the object is in rolling motion. So in case of rolling motion, two motions take place simultaneously, means two motions take place at a same time. And those two motions are the circular motion and the linear motion. So due to the combination of these two motions, the rolling motion takes place. Now, suppose we consider an object which is rolling uniformly about some plane. Let the moment of inertia be I. Let the linear speed be small v. As we are considering a circular object, so the radius of the body be r. So, the angular speed we can write as omega, which can be given by v by r. As you know, v is equal to r omega. So the mass of the body, let it be equal to m, and the radius of gyration is k. Now the relation between the radius of gyration and the moment of inertia is given by I is equal to m k square. Now when that object is rolling down, the total energy of the rolling is given by the translational kinetic energy plus the rotational kinetic energy, because the rolling motion is sum of these two motions. So translational kinetic energy plus rotational kinetic energy. So the translational kinetic energy, as we all know, is given by half mv square, and the rotational kinetic energy we have derived in previous lecture is given by half I omega square. Now, in place of I, you can substitute m k square, and in place of omega, you can substitute v by r. So, substituting the value of I and omega, you get this equation, that is half mv square plus half mk square v by r whole square. Now out of these two terms you can take half mv square common. So from the first term, if you take half mv square common, what remains? 1. And from the second term, if you take half mv square common, the remaining terms are k square by r square. So this is the total energy during a rolling motion, that is half mv square into 1 plus k square by r square. Now we'll find the formula for the linear acceleration and speed in case of a rolling motion. Now let's consider a rigid object which is rolling down some inclined plane. The object is of mass small m and the radius is capital R. Now, as you can see from this diagram, you can see that the inclination of the plane with the horizontal is given by theta. Let this height be h, and the distance between the initial and the final position, let it be equal to small s. Now as object starts rolling, the gravitational potential energy, it gets converted into the kinetic energy of rolling. So previously we have seen that the kinetic energy of rolling is given by this formula, that is half mv square into 1 plus k square by r square. Now as gravitational potential energy is converted into kinetic energy of rolling, we can write gravitational potential energy as mgh, because h is this vertical distance. So mgh is equal to the kinetic energy of rolling. So you can just cancel out these mass and rearrange in the equation. You can find the formula for velocity or speed. So v square will be 2gh divided by 1 plus k square by r square, and here you get the formula for the speed of that object rolling down, that is root of 2gh divided by 1 plus k square by r square. Now if we consider a pure sliding where there is no friction, this term goes out and the velocity is just root of 2gh. Now from this diagram you can see that sine of theta is opposite upon hypotenuse. So sine of theta you can write as h by s. So as sine of theta can be written as h by s, you can write s is equal to h upon sine theta. So this s is the linear distance traveled by the object during the rolling motion. Now suppose there is some acceleration a. Initially the object was at rest, so we will consider u is equal to 0. And acceleration is a. So from the kinematic equations, you know that 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So substituting the value of s, that is h by sine theta, you get it is equal to 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. So as u is equal to 0, this term goes out, and substituting the value of v and taking square of that, the value of v which we have derived here, if you take the square of this, the square root goes out, so you get this equation 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. So from this you can just cancel out 2 on RHS and LHS, and you can also cancel out h, and you can find the formula for a. So the formula for a will be g sine theta goes here, so g sine theta divided by 1 plus k square by r square. So you have the formula for acceleration, that is g sine theta 1 plus k square by r square. In this case also, if there is pure sliding, if there is no friction, then the denominator will just go off, and you will have a is equal to g sine theta. Now suppose there is an object rolling, and if moment of inertia has some formula in this form, that is n into mr square, where n is some constant term. So in such cases, the n gives the value of k square by r square. Now this can be explained with an example. Suppose the moment of inertia of some object is 2 by 5 mr square. So this constant term 2 by 5, it gives the value of k square by r square. So these kind of questions can be asked in the form of MCQ questions. So you should know what that constant term gives you. For example, in case of for a hollow cylinder, the moment of inertia is mr square. So in that case, the constant term will be 1, which is equal to k square by r square. For uniform disk, which we have previously seen, that the moment of inertia is half mr square. So here the nth part or the constant part is half. So k square by r square is equal to half. So there are such examples, many more examples. Now, when a body is rolling, there is this particular concept which we can say, that is the ratio of translational kinetic energy is to rotational kinetic energy is to total kinetic energy, can be given in this form. So 1 is to k square by r square is to 1 plus k square by r square. Now this thing also can be explained with an example. So if you consider a hollow sphere, the value of k square by r square is 2 by 3. So the translational kinetic energy for that, it is 1. Rotational kinetic energy, it is k square by r square itself, and the total kinetic energy 1 plus k square by r square. So just solving this ratio, you will get 3 is to 2 is to 5. So from this you can say that the 60% kinetic energy is translational and the 40% kinetic energy is rotational. So these are just small points which may help you to solve a few MCQs in your competitive exams as well as your board exams. So just keep this small ratios and relations in mind. So basically with this concept, we have almost finished the first chapter of our 12th standard SSC board. So as you can see in your textbook, there are few basic things. As you can see this table, it is very important. This table gives you the relation between the equations, the kinematic equations in case of your translational motion and its analogy in rotational motion. So you can just see that the velocities are replaced by omega, the acceleration is replaced by angular acceleration alpha. So these I want you to study these equations thoroughly. You can just take it as a part of your homework. So this table is important. Along with that, you can see there's one more table which can just help you to revise the whole chapter. So here the quantities are given for translational motion and analogy of that quantities for rotational motion. So in translational motion there is linear displacement. Similarly for rotational there is angular displacement, and the symbol and the relation is also given. Linear velocity, its analogy, angular velocity, and so on. So this table is also very important for you. It will give you a revision also of the whole chapter. So the next thing is, as we have derived moment of inertia for the ring for uniform disk in our chapter, so theoretically or experimentally we can find the moment of inertia of various objects. So in this table, the name of the object, the position of the axis, the expression for moment of inertia, and the figure is given. So this table is also very important because in most of the competitive exams they just tell you the figure and you have to find the moment of inertia, or you have to just tick the correct formula. So in this table, various figures and their moment of inertia are given. So according to me, you should study these three tables thoroughly, and you should just keep in mind all the formulas for moment of inertia of various type of objects. So these three tables will be a part of your self-study, as self-study is also very much important. So with this note, we are just finishing the first chapter. Thank you.